Welcome to Gerald Khalil's Conversation Piece. I share my thoughts on social content in sports, politics, and entertainment. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So, the draft last night, and I'm going to admit I was like many other Brown fans who was not too happy with how the draft went. So I said, you know what? Instead of me posting the video right away, let me get some sleep. Let me think about it. So here I am today posting the video after I thought about it. And number one, Mason Graham, welcome. Mason Graham, he's the new Cleveland Brown. He's a defensive tackle out of Michigan. And how we got there is what I believe a lot of folks are upset about, okay? Myself, like a bunch of others, was expecting that Travis Hunter would be the pick by the Cleveland Browns. And while I'm watching the draft, and there were rumors about what the Browns were planning on doing, but you figure, well, there's no way that they're going to pass on a talent like Travis Hunter. And then all of a sudden, lights flash, a trade's been made, and you knew, at least I knew, it's like, oh my goodness, they went ahead and they did it. And they did it. The Browns traded down from 2 to 5 to get Mason Graham. Now, again, Mason Graham is a high prospect. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the nation out of Michigan. But when you think of someone like a Travis Hunter or even an Abdul Carter, you were thinking more possibly generational talent. And the Browns need generational talent. Heck, they need any sort of talent. And you always wonder, you go, well, wait a minute. Why can't the Browns just stay where they were and we could have got Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, either one. But especially Travis Hunter, you know, someone who plays offense and someone who plays defense. That's a rarity. You do not get at someone who's talented on both sides of the ball like that. And it's just like it was kind of like a kick to the gut, to be honest with you, when it happened. And if you remember, I don't know how many of you remember, the Browns did a similar thing years back when Sashi Brown, I believe, was the general manager. And I may be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section. But they had an opportunity to get Julio Jones. And if you know Julio Jones, he turned out to be a great receiver, and he's going to be, if he's not already, a Hall of Famer. And I think we got defensive tackle. Can't remember the name. Not important at this point. It was not a good look. The thing is what the Browns did, they traded down just like they did this draft. And it kind of like brought back memories or nightmares, whatever you want to look at, however you want to look at it. So in this case, here we are with Mason Graham. But it's not, and once again, once I got a chance to think about it, it's not so much we got Mason Graham, and we think of, you know, we have someone in the trenches, and you need folks in the trenches. And again, man, the Browns, we need folks like that, because when you build up your trenches offensively, the offensive line and the defensive line, your team will be so much better, right? And then kind of like you want to get the outsides later, you know, like your receivers and your cornerbacks and so forth. But knowing, right, that we need some talent, and some high-end talent, knowing we need a quarterback, I thought about, all right, well, we did get some picks back, and the picks that we got back was pretty darn good. And the picks that the Browns got back, they got a second and a fourth rounder for this year. So that's for this year. And they got the Jags first round pick in 2026. Now, what does that do for us? Now, the first thing that got to me was like, oh, okay, well, we get that first round pick next year. If the Jags stink, then well, you know, we can get a top flight quarterback. And sorry, I didn't mention that when we moved down from 2 to 5, we made the trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? So Travis Hunter will be a Jaguar, all right? So, and I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe we're going to have a little something here. And then I also thought for this year, right, we have a second rounder, like I said, in the fourth rounder, and the second rounder. So we have 2 second rounders. We have the first pick in the second round, which is 33, and we have the 36th pick. So the Browns have some wiggle room to do some things. They could do some trading, right, to get more picks. And, you know, that's what I had thought that they were going to do last night. I said, okay, well, when the Mason Graham trade happened, I said, okay, well, they're going to trade up. And they never did do it. So here we are at number 33 to see what they're going to do tonight. But then there's next year where you have 2 first rounders, right? So you can really do some things and trade up to get that franchise quarterback for 2026. Now, the downside of that is, yeah, where everyone's projecting that the quarterback class of next year is going to be better, but we don't know how much better, right? And we don't even know how bad the Browns will be in order to get a high draft pick, right? You know, I mean, if you have Flacco, I'm assuming, starting, and there's rumors that they're talking about Kenny Pickett starting. That's another video for another day, okay? Anyway, but if you have Flacco, you know, and to me, I think that's 7 wins off the bat. You know, you're probably going to be more middle of the pack. Will that extra first round pick boost you up? Yeah, probably it would. It may get you in the top 5, right? Depending on your record and depending on the team. Hey, depending on what the Jaguars do. Heck, you never know. The Jaguars stink next year. We can, be in the top 5 regardless. So, that's something that we have to look out for. But here's the thing. Do you trust Andrew Berry to make the correct picks? We've gone through this stuff so many times. And we've gone through Andrew Berry making picks that just stink. And I guess the thing is I look at with Mason Graham is that it seems more like a safe pick. Can we use Mason? Yes. But it just seems so safe as opposed to going for a talent like Travis Hunter. And I think that's what really shocked people who's not really happy with how the draft went. It's like, man, we could have had Travis Hunter. He was right there. And we say, well, no, we're not going to take him. Someone else take him. We'd rather be more conservative and go with Mason Graham. So, and that's such, to me, an Andrew Berry move, right? And the thing is, and I shouldn't just blame Andrew Berry, because Andrew Berry does not make these picks and then say to Kevin Stefanski, say, here's the picks I made, you deal with them. No, it's a team effort. So I just want to make that clear. But these guys do not have a good track record at all when it comes to making picks, right? And I know it was a video I made months ago with all of the picks that Andrew Berry and the rest of the crew have made. And it was not good. I think maybe three, I think it came up to like 3 or 4 picks that stuck, out of a bunch of them. And there's really no Pro Bowlers. I think JOK is maybe the closest, right? And let's not talk about the offense. He's done nothing on the offense. Receivers, nothing. He totally. I mean, you remember Anthony Schwartz? Okay, so we're talking about folks, receivers who just terrible, not good receivers at all. And to me, hey, Andrew Berry had a chance to say, "Hey, I drafted Travis Hunter," right? And that could have helped on that could have helped his resume a whole lot. But no, he decided not to do that. So here we are. So looking at the draft tonight, where we go? Do we go and get our quarterback? Now, Shadir Sanders, he's still available. Um, the pundits were right that they predicted him to drop, and he did drop. He dropped all the way to the second round. Jackson Dart went before him. Jackson Dart went to the Giants. So you got Shadir Sanders available. You can go Jalen Milroe, or Tyler Shuck out of Louisville. So you kind of like have a choice of quarterbacks, either at 33 or at 36. However, there's rumors out there that they're not going to even go with a quarterback. So now you're talking about going into the season with Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, and no one to groom. Now, personally, I would just go ahead with Sanders and work with them and try to develop them. All right, and you know that he's going to have a chip on his shoulders, and he's one, and he seems like one, and especially if he's anything like his father, and it seems like he's a lot like his father, he's going to be looking to prove a lot. And why not? We need those type of players. We need players that have chips on their shoulders. We don't need to me, in my opinion, we don't need quiet, docile people. We don't. This is a football team, and we need people that's looking every Sunday to come and kick behind. That's what we need. And if Sanders could come in and do it, bring him on. I think he will be a great fit with the Kevin Stefanski offense, better than any other of the others. Maybe Tyler Shuck will be fine. I don't. Jason Milroe, I love his speed, but I do not think he's a fit with Stefanski, because he's more. He has an arm, but his intermediate passing is not there. Stefanski offense, you got to be able to throw that intermediate ball, right? And that's why I keep going back to Sanders. Now, there's another point you can look at. Say, for instance, if we do get Sanders at 33, think of, you could have had both him and you could have had Travis Hunter. Think about that. he would have had someone familiar he could have thrown to. But that's now water under the bridge now, and we must move on. Again, Mason Graham, welcome to the Cleveland Browns. Hey, let me know what you think. Please do not hesitate to leave a comment. And I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's hold our hopes for this draft tonight at 33. Hopefully, we'll get a quarterback. Hey, I'm fine with getting. If they don't go with Shador, I'm fine with any quarterback at this moment. To be honest with you, and I would prefer Sanders, but I'll definitely settle on Milroe, even though I don't think he's a good fit, or Shuck. The reason why I'm looking at Milroe's upside, and hopefully that they could coach him up. But then again, in this regime, Stefanski has not proven, he hasn't proven that he can coach players up. And again, Andrew Berry has definitely proven that he's not worthy of making good draft picks. Hopefully, Mason Graham will prove us all wrong. I'll see you in the next one.